Maybe there are some people here who think they know better than Arabs and Muslims in the region about these two organizations.
Is that it? You reckon?
Can I find another answer to the question?
I don't know. Perhaps they're being, bribed, corrupted, or perhaps they're incredibly naive. I'm not sure.
Well, actually, I think it's at the end of the day some degree of naivete, not understanding the scope of what it really means. Because, a lot of people that have not been direct witness of the level of atrocity or radicalism and extremism and hatred and bigotry and that exists, that is embedded in that ideology, would not comprehend it unless they spend just a day of living in Iran to understand what is really going on, how this ideology is poisonous, it's toxic, it's beyond radiation if you had a nuclear meltdown. It is that devastating. And I think that you are beginning to see the consequences of that radicalism and extremism manifesting itself now on European soil itself. That level of extremism, of radical Islam, is beginning to be felt in Europe. And I warned the Europeans many, many years ago that it would eventually end in your own backyard. I remember a conversation I had with a member of the House of Lords in the early 80s. And I said, the way Europe looks at the Middle East is like a far distant area. It doesn't affect us. They're fighting each other over there. And I remember telling him, this is probably 1982, that one of these days it's going to be in your own backyard. And guess what? It is now in your own backyard. And unfortunately, there's a certain angle of thinking here, mostly the leftists. The minute you say that, they say, oh, you're Islamophobic. Do you think that people in Saudi Arabia or in the UAE or in Iran, when they talk about radical Islam, they are Islamophobic? They are Muslims. Can't you tell the difference? And when you call something for what it is, you've been accused of painting them the wrong way. That's the kind of hypocrisy and double standard that exists. But the reality is that, yes, the Muslim Brotherhood or the Islamic regime are fomenting extremism, radicalism, hatred, bigotry, and discrimination. That's the essence of their ideology. What we want as Iranians is a country where we can guarantee every single citizen of Iran, irrespective of their ethnicity, their religious beliefs, or political affiliation, justice and equality under the law, putting an end to any form of discrimination that this regime has been the root cause of. And it's not just us being affected, it's affecting many others around the world. That is not the direction to go. And it is, for us, when we look at the West, what do we look at the West for? We're not looking to Beijing, we're looking to the West. Why? Because these are the established democracies where we assume these liberties and these values are in fact cherished and protected. But why is it that when it comes to countries like ours, all of a sudden, it's no longer a question of human rights, it's a question of, well, maybe they think differently, maybe we should try to understand them. This is what they were saying at the beginning. Let's try to understand them. They may be different, we have to be able to believe in that. I'm sorry, but bigotry is bigotry. Radicalism is radicalism. You cannot discriminate discrimination.